Hey everyone, you're tuned into Turkish Spotlight Secrets, where the whispers turn into the stories everyone can't stop talking about. Settle in, because tonight's spotlight falls on a name the whole industry can't look away from, Cemre Arda. The buzz has been roaring louder than ever, and the latest claim sweeping through social feeds and backstage corridors is as delicate as it is dazzling, that Cemre quietly slipped away to Italy for the most intimate reason of all. To welcome a baby far from the noise. The moment this murmur surfaced, two questions started echoing across the fandom: why Italy, and is there more to this choice than meets the eye? With Cemre married to Gökberk Yildirim, a couple adored for their restraint and elegance, the mystery deepens instead of dissolving. If you followed their journey, you know how fiercely Cemre and Gökberk guard their private world. Since the day they said yes to forever, they've built a bubble where love breathes and cameras rarely intrude. Their posts became fewer, their appearances quietly rare, and the public, half puzzled, half enchanted, read it as a pledge to keep the sacred sacred. Recently, though, that hush took on a new edge when whispers began about Cemre not just traveling abroad, but staying there longer than a charming getaway would require. Italy, of all places. That detail alone inflated the rumor like a sail catching wind. Italy matters, not just because it's a postcard paradise, but because its allure has often been the secret refuge of stars craving anonymity. The conversation quickly centered on its romance-stained streets, its promise of privacy, its polished clinics where celebrity becomes simply human. When the rumor mill added that Cemre had remained there for an extended stretch, the narrative wrote itself. The timing, the sudden quiet, the hold-your-breath energy of her absence from the screen, it all fed into one conclusion fans clasped in hope and curiosity. Neither Cemre nor Gökberk has cracked the door open with an official word. Not even a hint. But what sent the gossip engine into overdrive wasn't only the hush. It was the shadow of a memory, a project from years ago, when Cemre's on-screen chemistry with a certain leading man ignited a fandom that still refuses to flicker out. That actor later anchored his career in Italy, feeding the idea that there might be an intimate thread connecting her destination with a chapter from the past. The feeds reshared old clips, the edits got bolder, and fan pages stitched nostalgia into brand new assumptions. Inside the rumor circle, the chorus calling this theory exaggerated keeps getting louder. You can almost hear the sighs from those who know Cemre's story beyond the screens. The steady glow of her partnership with Gökberk, the way he steps back from the megaphone and holds the quiet like a vow. His silence isn't absence, it's a language. It says he won't play tug-of-war with speculation when their life together deserves softness and shelter. People close to them, the ones who know where the truth is tucked, suggest the couple is living a season that belongs to them alone. A chapter bound by patience, not press. So where does that leave the conversation? Balanced between a heartbeat and a headline. On one side, the idea that Cemre chose Italy for the tranquility, the care, the chance to breathe without being seen. On the other, a story spun from nostalgia threads, tying her to a familiar face who now calls Italy home, even though evidence is thin as a wisp. Those who love Cemre's work are torn between wanting to celebrate and not wanting to intrude. Those who love Cemre the person have learned to let her speak when she's ready. If she chooses to at all. And in the middle stands Gökberk, tall and quiet, defending their world simply by refusing to narrate it for us. Let's step back for a moment. Cemre has been off the screen for a while, and that absence has a gravity of its own. Her fans began to read the patterns, fewer posts, softer captions, the kind of stillness that signals a life unfolding behind closed doors. The last photos the couple shared, smiles caught like secrets, only deepened the mystery. That was the instant the Italy rumor leapt from whisper to wildfire. There's something about that country that wraps itself around stories of reinvention, sanctuary, and new beginnings. You can almost see Cemre walking along a quiet street in Rome or Milan, anonymous under a hat, hand in hand with the future no one else gets to design. Insiders, those ethereal figures who always seem to know just enough, say celebrities often pick Italy for the very reasons now being pinned to Cemre's name. Privacy isn't a luxury there, it's a craft. The care is discreet, the doors are thick, and the paparazzi, though persistent, are not omnipresent. If she is there for something as tender as welcoming a child, then maybe the silence is not a mystery, but a gift she's giving herself. And if she isn't, if this is all illusion, then perhaps it's a lesson in how deeply audiences yearn to feel part of a favorite star's life, even when they're asked to watch from the shoreline. Now let's talk about that lingering link to the past, the project that made a generation swoon, the partner whose move to Italy keeps fanning the flames. People love a full-circle moment, and the idea that Cemre's current chapter might rhyme with an old one is irresistibly cinematic. But conversation in the corridors where this industry actually breathes suggests otherwise. Those who've watched her arc, her measured decisions, her commitment to presence over spectacle, believe the Italy choice, if real, has nothing to do with ancient screen magic and everything to do with the present tense she has built with Gökberk. And Gökberk remains, as always, the enigma wrapped in a gentle smile. You won't catch him defending or denying what the world guesses. He has never been one to turn a private moment into a podium. If anything, his quiet strengthens the sense that whatever is happening now is too precious to put into words. Friends paint a picture of a home life that's warm, grounded, almost stubbornly normal, a sanctuary where they can cook late, argue softly, plan carefully, and lock the door on every storm outside. Then there's Cemre's relationship with Italy itself. Long before this rumor took flight, she spoke in interviews about how deeply the country's textures moved her, the cadence of the language, the way espresso tastes in small cups, the faded pink of evening on ancient stone. She's visited often, and in those old quotes you can hear the pull of a place that lets an artist exhale. If she chose that setting for a life milestone, would anyone truly be surprised? Or would we nod and say, of course, that sounds like her? Still, the headlines keep dancing. One moment, certainty. The next, surrender. Between those beats waits the truth, patient and unbothered by our urgency. The rumor that Cemre traveled to Italy to give birth may be a fairy tale with its feet on the ground. Or it may be a mirage shaped by the light of longing. Either way, the story refuses to resolve before its time. All it would take is a single sentence from Cemre or Gökberk to settle the scrolls and calm the currents. Until then, every post that isn't a reveal, every day that passes without a statement, becomes its own kind of message. Meanwhile, the fandom debates itself into circles. Some say this silence is the purest expression of self-care, a deliberate declaration that not everything beautiful needs an audience. Others question whether the quiet is strategic, a way to shield a delicate moment from the relentless churn. Between the lines, two things are certain: Cemre is cherished, and Gökberk is trusted. Together, they've written a love story that doesn't need applause to thrive. And so we arrive where we began, holding a rumor with both hands and turning it over in the light. If the claim is true, and Cemre chose Italy for privacy, we may never see the clinics or the cobblestones or the careful routines that kept her safe. If it's false, then perhaps we've all learned how fast longing can dress up as certainty. The supposed link to a chapter from her past feels, at best, like nostalgia peeking through the curtains. The real thread, stronger, quieter, infinitely more believable, ties back to the life she and Gökberk have chosen, one deliberate step at a time. We watch. We wait. We respect what is not ours to demand. And if that long-awaited post arrives, if her caption is a cradle, or his words are a window, we'll be here to read it softly. Until then, the conversation will keep circling Italy, privacy, love, and the right to keep secrets sacred. This is Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and tonight, we've lingered in the echo of a question only two people can answer. When the truth is ready, it will find us. Until then, let the city of romance hold its mysteries, and let the couple at the center of this story hold their peace. As the gossip wave keeps rolling, one more thread deserves attention. The industry has seen this pattern before: the more beloved the star, the more stubborn the rumor. Cemre's absence from sets is a silence that rattles, her glow is missed in living rooms and timelines alike. Yet absence doesn't always mean unraveling. Sometimes it means mending. Sometimes it means building. And sometimes it means choosing the country where the door latches softly, where the phone can stay face down, where the biggest noise is laughter at a table set for two. If Italy is where she has chosen to rest, the fans will learn to love the mystery as much as they love the movies. And what of the future? When she returns, because stars like Cemre always return, her presence will carry the serenity of time well spent. Gökberk will be by her side, as he has been, quiet in his strength, steady in his devotion. There may be no confirmation. There may be no confession. There may only be an appearance, a smile, a light touch to a ring that has meant everything since the day it slipped onto her finger. The story will go on. It always does. But if this chapter remains unread to the public, perhaps that is exactly as it should be. You've been with Turkish Spotlight Secrets, where we follow the glow without blinding the people who carry it. If you're intrigued, if you felt your heart lean toward this mystery tonight, stay with us. Subscribe, share, and keep your notifications lit. The moment Cemre Arda or Gökberk Yildirim lets the truth step into the room, we'll be here. Soft-spoken, wide-eyed, and ready to tell it the way it deserves to be told. Until then, keep the rumor gentle, keep the love louder, and let Italy hold the secret a little longer.